All right, I'm going to give you an update on the annuals, and I've learned a couple things. You know, this gardening is tricky. There's so many variables here: the light, the soil, the temperature, water. I mean, it's been complex, but I think I learned a few things, so I'm going to show you that. All right, let's get to the impatiens. Now, you know, earlier on I had problems with this. I ignored the species. This is the Walleriana, which does much better than the New Guinea. But we still got problems, all right? If you come around here, you'll see it really spread and increased in size. So I'm not worried about, I did put compost. Obviously, there's plenty of nitrogen. It got really leafy and got a lot bigger. But the problem is it doesn't bloom, or it barely blooms. So you have just a few buds. It had tons when I first got it. And maybe one or two flowers were just here, and then they fall off, okay? So that's, it's not doing that well. Now, here's the thing. I originally thought it was because of the dark, okay? It was too dark over here, but now I don't believe that, and I'll tell you why. Because I had the begonia right next to it, and the begonia just bloomed like crazy if you watched it. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. I think we're gonna have to take a break here. All right, we're back. So what I was saying is the begonia was right next to it, but that bloomed continuously for like a month. So I don't think it's it doesn't get direct light here, but it does get bright light. Now there is a possible confound, and that is I think some light does get back here if you look at my sun video, basically. But nevertheless, I think that's what it is. All these shallow rooted plants have done poorly, and here's what really convinced me. Now I have an area, and I'm kind of thinking of this as a death zone, because everything I plant there, it's got empty now, dies, okay? So I originally had the Terrania there, if you go back to like episode 2, and I thought, oh man, I'm underwatering it, which was probably correct. So I transplanted a healthy one there, and now I was watering more, but guess what? It ended up shriveling up and dying anyway. And what I realized is it's the tree root competition, okay? Even though I'm getting adequate water, the Linden is just sucking it all up and all the nutrients. And that's what I think is the problem. That's why the impatiens went, the Terrania went, and okay. Now the stuff with the deeper roots seems to be doing better, the hellebore, but this one lately I went, uh-oh, and it's close to that death zone, so it could be there's some major roots down there, I'm not sure. I added some compost and I'm hoping that'll help it. Let's see, okay? So I think what makes this pit difficult is the tree root competition is intense. Now, I had mentioned the begonia over here, and it was a wax begonia, and that died because, number one, I planted it too deep, so the stem was continuously wet, and then it ended up, rotting out. The other thing is I didn't realize then is this corner stays really wet. I started checking it after rain like today, whereas the front row dries out really quick. So I have to pay attention to that as well, all right? That's another aspect, that's why this gets complex. Now, I did get another begonia. AI is kind of like all that shallow root stuff's gonna die. I have to say, it's basically correct, but I thought I'll give it one more shot. And this is a wax begonia, not a wax begonia, I'm sorry. It's a big begonia. I think it's Bensariensis, I have to check. And it's a little hardier. I thought, let me try it in this corner over here. Once I found out that corner was wet, I'm not gonna do it over there anymore, okay? So I thought, let me give it a shot over here, all right? So we'll see what happens. I have to say, when I got this one, boy, it was really beat. I'm surprised it's okay. It looks like somebody had stepped on the box, and plus it was in the mail. It took like 6 days. They really messed it up. But it looks like I thought, let me give it a try. We'll see. I have a second one, but that one's pretty beat. And we'll see what happens here, all right? I also have some astilbe coming I'm gonna do there, but that's the next episode.